Oh my Kami-sama, the escalation of these next two sagas happened just like that.
The devastation seems to be non-ending, with at a rough count only 1/5 of the world's population remaining.
Majin Buu's power is unbelievable.
Not even Goku has what it takes to deal with that.
All of our major cities are gone. The governments are mostly destroyed.
Babidi's domination of Earth seems inevitable. Buu, unstoppable.
There is hope, but if Buu finds it, he'll destroy it. It's these two.
Even Goku's gonna need some help with this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is horrible. However, we have heard unsubstantiated rumors that there may be someone left. Someone left in this world willing to fight.
With Vegeta's sacrifice being in vain and the remaining Z fighters having to retreat, Babidi plots his revenge by holding the entire planet for a ransom after being attacked by Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo. Things get pretty tense and sweaty throughout this portion of the story.
It's darkest just before dawn.
Boo is nothing. I will bring him back, dead.
If no one comes forward with info on the three Babidi is after, then a city is destroyed by random or eaten. After Goku shows off his newest Super Saiyan form and holds off Buu, he tells Buu to start thinking for himself and that in 2 days' time, a fighter even stronger than him will fight. Quite a bit happens within that time span. 80% of the world population being wiped out, Goku goes back to the other world and helps Gohan train on the world of the Kais. The Supreme Kai sees Gohan wielding the Z-Sword as the only solution to beating Majin Buu. Goten and Trunks practice a technique that Goku taught them before he left, fusion. And of course, everyone asking for Mr. Satan to fight Majin Buu, which you and I both know he can't do. Goten and Trunks begin training to fight Majin Buu, but the second they fuse together, they run off to go fight him and seem to match Buu blow for blow at first. But then they get wailed on.
Wait a second, I was gonna bring back his body as proof he was dead, and now I've gone and vaporized him. Oh well, no sense in crying over it now. What?
The boys are motivated to follow in their father's footsteps to protect the Earth, and really that's all there is to their characters from here on out. I'd like to just talk about something that I didn't get to discuss earlier, which is them becoming Super Saiyans shortly after their introductions, even though everybody else struggled just to become Super Saiyan. I really think the moment Goten should have become Super Saiyan is the moment Chi-Chi dies. That would have been perfect. And then have Trunks turn into a Super Saiyan throughout training in the Room of Spirit and Time. Although I don't really see Trunks' transformation as jarring. Before all this, he did train with Vegeta, who probably pushed Trunks to become Super Saiyan unintentionally. They were doing the same exercises after all. It just troubles me that he trained with Chi-Chi, and it probably wasn't as rigorous training as Trunks did with Vegeta, and he's able to turn into a Super Saiyan. That just bugs me, and I think the right moment for him to turn Super Saiyan should have been later on. The notable additions about the Z-Sword subplot is that we got some pretty funny moments.
No! It broke? That's impossible!
No! He broke what cannot be broken!
The Z-Sword is gone!
Hey, I hate to point fingers, but swinging the Z-Sword at that crazy space cube was kinda your idea.
And we got Elder Kai out of it, who maxes out Gohan's power level in a very unconventional way. Yeah, these sagas are all about that, with the fusion dance and whatever this is. Mr. Satan at first planned to take out Buu, but instead becomes a slave after he can't seem to take him out using various man-made methods. Later on, Buu finds an injured dog, and much like after healing the blind boy, the dog befriends him. Majin Buu, I wouldn't say is evil. He's more so misguided. He's a powerful being who doesn't know any better aside from what Babidi has instructed him to do. If he was so bad, he would have killed Bee.
We say he's a monster, but I don't think he knew any better. He just did what he was told and they took advantage of that. Guess I took advantage of him too. Well, not anymore.
And just like the audience, Mr. Satan realizes that Buu needs a guiding hand and isn't all that bad.
You think Boo should stop hurting Earth people?
A little, yeah.
Then Boo stop!
You're really gonna stop terrorizing? And stop blowing up cities? I did it! I really did it! The
Mr.
world champion,
Satan
defeated
is a
Monster
hero.
and saved the world
Crisis
from the
averted.
That is incredible
He
charisma
actually
and
did
genius.
it! Everything is fine until this went and ruined it for everyone. Seeing his friends hurt really conflicts Boo, not to resort to violence, and adds an extra layer to his character, until he releases all of his evil manifestations, and then in turn, it absorbs him. From here, Super Boo takes over as the main villain, and I have to say, the other Boos just aren't up to par character-wise. Super Boo and the other Boo forms, aside from one, just aren't all that interesting, and yes, he's very powerful, but he's on the same interest level as any of the movie villains, not counting Beerus. Yeah, he wiped out the remaining Earth population in a burst of power, but that's it. Cool design, no substance. Speaking of new forms, Super Saiyan 3 is pretty cool, but I think it's a form that should be used sparingly. The fusion gives Gotenks a very cool character design. While he can get grating at times, I did like a lot of what Fusion offered. The boys could go Super Saiyan 2 off the bat, and with a little bit of training they could go Super Saiyan 3. They added some cool moves to the Dragon Ball catalog like Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, and did try to beat Super Boo, but his regeneration was too much to overcome. So much to the point where Piccolo blows up the entrance to the Room of Spirit and Time, and they become stranded, never able to leave.
The chamber portal is closed forever. We're all going to spend the rest of our lives in this dimension.
But how will I get my candy?
You won't. There's none here.
No cookie, no ice cream, no chocolates!
That's right. All gone.
And I remember thinking as a kid, what's gonna happen now? This would have been a crazy ending. A bit anticlimactic, but what can you expect from Toriyama?
I hate this place!
Well, you can expect him to do that. Gotenks turns Super Saiyan 3 and gets both of them out of there. He gave it his best shot but couldn't overcome the regeneration factor, and he got a little too cocky at times. So here comes Mystic Gohan to bail the remaining survivors out and easily overpowers Boo. Not much more to it. Super Boo devises a plan to get the boys to fuse again, and just when you thought the Z-Fighters had control, the tables have turned on them yet again. Things got so bad that King Yema sends Vegeta back to fight, and Elder Kai gives up his life to send Goku back to Earth. It doesn't get much better as Gohan gets absorbed and Goku's last resort is Vegeta. On the bright side, at least Mr. Satan and Bee are saved. They also get filled in on what few humans know about within the Dragon Ball universe, like being able to revive people with the Dragon Balls, and Dende being the guardian of Earth. He may not believe it, but they're slowly opening his eyes. There's a lot out there, Mr. Satan. You just don't know it yet. I will say that the Fusion Saga is near perfection, and I will give the Mystic Gohan Saga a recommendation. With all that's left, there's only one warrior that can stand up to Boo, and his name is Vegito.
All right!
Join me next time for the finale of this retrospective. I'm Lena Mars of the MSJ Productions crew, and I'll see you next time.